Hi everyone, welcome to Appleby Academy. In this video, we will be dealing with Canadian literature. So, all of you are preparing for the next NTA NET English examination, and we know that according to December 2018 NTA syllabus, we have drama, we have fiction, non-fiction, short stories, poetry, so and so. And in all these modules or in all these generic divisions, we have to learn this post-colonial literature. So in this video, we will be dealing with Canadian literature. So in post-colonial literature, we have different sorts of classifications. We have African and Caribbean writers. We have African American literature, we have Australian literature, we have diasporic literature, and then we have this Canadian literature. So this video will give you a brief idea about what this Canadian literature is, what are the major features, who are the major writers, what are the major works. So this video is actually a capsule form for this Canadian literature. Okay, so let's look about the different writers, and before the different writers, let's have a look on what this Canadian literature is. So, before getting into this Canadian literature, all these writers that I'm mentioning here plus the other minor writers are given in our LMS platform in a very detailed version. You will get the pre-recorded videos. At the same time, you will also get a detailed PPT notes and also mock exams regarding them. So with these writers in your mind, try to go through all these notes and be thorough with this Canadian literature. So now let's look what this Canadian literature is. So Canadian literature, the first thing that you have to remember when you hear Canada is that it's actually a multicultural country. It's a multilingual. You can find especially the major two languages that are prominent in Canada is English and French, but still it's regarded to be a multicultural country or a multilingual country. And this Canadian literature is actually what we call Canadian literature is the works written by the writers who are settled in Canada, whatever be their language. But the major languages that you can find in Canadian literature are English and French. So it's a literature of a multicultural country created by indigenous people and by people of other ancestral backgrounds in languages including Canadian English, Canadian French, indigenous languages, and many others such as Canadian Gaelic. So we all know that there is actually a lot of migration happening in Canada. From different parts of the world. Even from India, we can find many of our relatives are settled in Canada. And actually, this migration, it happened during the second half of the 20th century. It was actually from this 1970s. But you can find that the number of these migrating people were increasing gradually. So there are indigenous people in Canada who were settled there before this 20th century, from the very beginning. But at the same time, you can also find many people migrating from different countries to Canada, bringing with them their culture and their language. So Canada is like a what can we say? Once again, this multicultural country. And this literature, it is created by the people who are settled there and also by the indigenous people. And the languages differs, like there is Canadian English, Canadian French, indigenous language, and many other languages like Canadian Gaelic. And it represents Canada's diversity in culture and religion. It represents Canada's diversity in culture and religion. So the early Canadian literature, it involves diaries, journals, letters, accounts of travel and exploration. So just like you can find in the beginning of American literature, you could find the literature was mainly based on the travels, the exploration, and so on. So similarly, the early Canadian writings were also based on diaries, journals, letters, and accounts of travels and exploration. And earliest poems were patriotic songs and hymns. And you also have to remember one thing about Canadian literature, that's the first novel written in Canadian literature, that was the History of Emily Montag, which was published in the year 1769. So remember the name, the History of Emily Montag, published in the year 1769 by Frances Moore Brock. Okay, by Frances Moore Brock. That was the first novel written in that we regard as the first novel in Canadian literature. Now let's look at the important Canadian writers. Okay, let's look at the important Canadian writers that you have to look at them if you are preparing for your NTA NET examination, because the thing is that there are no too many questions, there are not too much questions that you would get from Canadian literature, or but you can expect 5 to 7 or 7 to 10 range of questions from post-colonial literature, and the 2 or 3 questions can be from Canadian literature. And the importance is that since these writers are very much clear, very much explicit, if you study them, we consider the questions from Canadian literature to be the short questions. That means it's actually the questions that you can get marks for. So just don't skip Canadian literature. You have to just go through all these writers, all these writers, and then look at the major works written by them, because normally you get the surface level questions for NTA NET examination. So let's look at the important Canadian writers. The first writer that we will be looking is Susanna Strickland Moody. Okay, Susanna Strickland Moody. So Susanna Strickland Moody, she was born in the year 1803 and died in the year 1885, and we have done a detailed recorded video of Moody in our LMS platform, so you can go through that if you want to get a detailed idea about her. But there are certain things that you have to remember regarding Moody. Her most important work is Roughing It in the Bush or Forest Life in Canada, which was published in the year 1852. So Susanna Strickland Moody, she is an English-born Canadian writer. She was born in Britain but later migrated to Canada with her family. And mainly, if you look at the works of Moody, you can find that she writes about her experience as a foreigner in Canada. So she speaks about her experience as a settler in Canada, which was actually during this time 1803 to 1805. It was actually a British colony. Canada was actually a British colony during that time. So speaking about Rough It in the Bush, remember the subtitle, or The Forest Life in Canada, which was published in the year 1852. It's written to discourage the prospective immigrants. It actually, she was not that much happy with her immigration, with her settling. So she's basically discouraging the other prospective immigrants. So this work is like a part memoir, at the same time a part novelization of her experience, and it is structured as a chronological series of sketches. So just remember about this work, Roughing It in the Bush or The Forest Life in Canada, 1852. And now we have another important writer, that is Margaret Laurence. This is the second important writer that you have to remember, Margaret Laurence. Margaret Laurence was born in the year 1926 and died in the year 1807. Okay, Margaret Laurence, 1926 to 87. Why am I giving more importance or focusing more on the year is because you can expect them to be in a chronological question. So just try to remember. It's really difficult to remember the date of birth, the years of all these writers. So just study them in a chronological order, revise them in a chronological order. It would be beneficial for you. So Margaret Laurence, she was born in the year 1926 and died in the year 87. She's actually, we were speaking about this Canadian novelist. She's a Canadian novelist and also a short story writer. Since we have this new module called short stories, fiction and short stories, you can expect questions from Margaret Laurence. And she is also the founder of the Writers Trust of Canada. So Writers Trust of Canada is actually a non-profit literary organization that seeks to encourage Canada's writing community. So she is also the founder of the Writers Trust of Canada. She is known for her Manawaka novels. So remember that name, Manawaka novels. It's like how Malgudi is for R.K. Narayan. Okay, it's like how Malgudi is for R.K. Narayan. So she is known for her Manawaka novels, and her major Manawaka novels are A Fictional Canadian Town, used in many of her works. A Fictional Canadian Town, used in many of her works. The town first appears in The Land of Our Father. It's actually a fictional Canadian town and it appears in most of her works. So just like how Thomas Hardy, William Faulkner, R.K. Narayanan uses their respective areas, she uses Manawaka as a Manawaka town for her setting. And the town, it first appears in the Land of Our Father. The town first appears in the Land of Our Father. And the Manawaka sequence, it consists of the books The Stone Angel, A Jest of God, The Fire Dwellers, A Bird in the House, and The Diviners. Okay, so remember these things, the Manawaka sequence, because you can expect questions like which among the following does not belong to the Manawaka series, or which among the following belongs to the Manawaka series, or you can also get the questions like a match the following, where the setting setting is asked to be matched with the work. So there are, there are 5 works that has this Manawaka background. The first one is The Stone Angel, 1964, A Jest of God, 1966, The Fire Dwellers, A Bird in the House, and The Diviners. Okay, these are the major work. And this town, it was actually based on Lauren's real life hometown of Nipawa. Okay, it's actually based on real town. Then the other works written by her are The Stone Angel, A Jest of God, A Tree for Poverty. Tree for Poverty is actually a collection. It's an anthology of Somali poetry and folk stories. Then we have Long Drums and Cannons. It's a Nigerian dramatist and novelist, 1952 to 1966, which was published in the year 1968. Okay, so just remember the names of these works, and also remember the association of Manawaka with Lawrence. Okay, so I hope that's clear about her. Now let's move to the another important Canadian writer, that is Robert Crush. Okay, Robert Crush. So about Robert Crush, he was born in the year 1927 and died in the year 2011. And speaking about Robert, he introduced the idea of postmodernism to Canadian literature. Okay, he introduced the idea of postmodernism to Canadian literature. And also, if you read the works of Robert, you can find that he also brings the concept of, or he brings the conflict between this Apollo-Dionysian god. So that was one of the major struggles or major theme that you could find in the works of Robert Crush, Apollo-Dionysian struggles. And then some other important facts that you have to remember about Robert is that he was the co-founder of the journal Boundary 2. Okay, so remember that he was the co-founder of the journal Boundary 2, and he is mainly known for his trilogy. Okay, if there is a trilogy, you have to by heart it, because you can expect questions. It's really easy for them to make, because they can just add another work over here and can ask you which among the following does not belong to this trilogy. Okay, so he is known for his trilogy, which include The Words of My Roaring 1966, The Stud Horseman 1969, Gone Indian 1973. Okay, so these are the major things that we have to, major works, and this is also a part of trilogy. So remember the name, The Words of My Roaring 1966, The Stud Horseman 1969, Gone Indian 1973. The three works that you have to remember. Now moving to another important writer, that is Alice Munro. Alice Munro was born in the year 1931. And there are certain things that you have to by heart about Alice Munro. She won the Nobel Prize in Literature. So winning this Nobel Prize from a post-colonial background is really important. It's really significant from an Indian point of view. So remember the year. Okay, Alice Munro, she won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 2013, and she also won Booker Prize in 2009. Okay, and also if you look at the previous year 2 question papers, you can find that there are frequent questions from the awards and honors. So it's really important. So she won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 2013 and Booker Prize in 2009. And she also won the Governor General's Prize, and that too 3 times. Okay, so these are certain things regarding the awards and honors of Alice Munro that you have to remember from a net point of view. She won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 2013 and Booker Prize in 2009. And she also won the Governor General's Prize thrice. And if you look at her works, you can find that she is known for bringing a revolution in short stories, or you can say that her works are described as having revolutionized the architecture of the short stories, especially in its tendency to move backward and forward in time. That was her major device, a literary device or a narrative technique that you could find in her short stories. So these are the major short story collections that you could find in her work. Dance of the Happy Shades 1968, Something I Have Been Meaning to Tell You 1974, Who Do You Think You Are 1978, The Progress of Love 1986, The View from Castle Rock 2006, and Dear Life 2012. So these are the major short story collections that you can find from Alice Munro. Apart from that, she has also written many novels, which includes Lives of Girls and Women, The Moons of Jupiter, Friend of My Youth, A Wilderness Station, The Love of a Good Woman, Open Secrets, In Runaway, The View from Castle Rock. So these are some of the other novels. So in here you have to just have a look on these lives of girls and women. Okay, so that's about Alice Munro. So remember the Nobel Prize, Booker Prize, the names of her short story collection, and also the names of her major works. Then we have Margaret Atwood. So speaking about Margaret Atwood, she was born in the year 1939 and she is still alive. So there are certain things regarding awards and honors that you have to remember about Margaret Atwood. And the first one is that she won the Booker Prize in 2000 and also in 2019. So she is actually a 2 times Booker Prize winner. She won the Booker Prize in 2000 and also in 2019. In 2019, she shared the prize with other author. So Atwood, and she's also a founder of the Griffin Poetry Prize and the Writers Trust of Canada. Okay, so Atwood is a founder of the Griffin Poetry Prize and also the Writers Trust of Canada. That's also something that you have to remember. And if you look at the major works written by her, we have The Edible Women, 1969, The Handmaid's Tale, 1985. Then we have the dystopian novel set in New England in the near future. So The Handmaid's Tale is a dystopian novel which is set in New England in the near future. Then we have The Blind Assassin, 2000, which won the Booker Prize for her. The book is set in the fictional Ontario town of Port Ticonderoga and in Toronto. Okay, so these are the major works written by her. We have The Edible Women, The Handmaid's Tale, The Blind Assassin, and the two works that you have to look in depth is The Handmaid's Tale and The Blind Assassin. Now moving to the next writer, we have Michelle Odance. Michelle Odance is actually a Sri Lankan born Canadian poet, and you have to remember these stuffs because you can also expect questions like which among the following statement is incorrect regarding Michelle Odance, or which among the following statement is correct regarding Odance. You can expect such questions. So it's really necessary to by heart or really necessary to study these stuffs. He was a Sri Lankan born Canadian poet, and in 2018 he won the Golden Man Booker Prize for the English Patient. Okay, in 2018 he won the Golden Man Booker Prize for the English Patient. So speaking about English Patient, that is his most important work because it won him the Booker Prize of 1992, and the book, it follows the 4 dissimilar people who were brought together at an Italian villa during a camp of World War II. Okay, so the book follows 4 dissimilar people brought together at an Italian villa during the Italian campaign of the Second World War, and the 4 main characters are an unrecognizably burned man. You can also expect a question like which among the following works has the narrator or has the main character an unrecognizably burned man. The answer is English Patient, the eponymous patient. Then that is the English Patient, then presumed to be English, his Canadian Army nurse, a Sikh British Army zapper, and a Canadian thief. So these are the major characters, and these people, they are really different from each other. They are brought together in a villa during the Second World War. Okay, so that's about Odance. And now about Rohinton Mistry. Rohinton Mistry was born in the year 1952. As you all know, he's an Indian-born Canadian writer, so he belongs to this diasporic writers. And Mistry, he was of Parsi origin, and each of his first 3 novels were shortlisted for the Booker Prize. Okay, his first 3 novels were shortlisted for Booker Prize. And speaking about his works in general, his works include fiction, autobiography, he has written for film, he has written poetry. He is actually a very much influential figure at the contemporary literature. And the major 2 works that you have to remember about Rohinton Mistry is Such a Long Journey. So Such a Long Journey by Rohinton Mistry, it actually tells the story of Gustave Noble with his conflict, with his interpersonal conflict, and also you could find the political scandals of 1970 India. And similarly, the criticism or the government of Indira Gandhi, India's war with Pakistan, this all acts as a setting for Such a Long Journey by Rohinton Mistry. And then we have his other work, A Fine Balance. Fine Balance is also an important work written by him. So this book, it actually shows the changes that happened in the Indian society after independence. So after independence, that means independence in 1947 to the emergency time called by Indira Gandhi. So what were the major changes that happened during this time? So that acts as a setting for this Fine Balance. So these are the 2 novels that you have to remember about Rohinton, you have to study about Rohinton Mistry. Okay, so these are the major writers that you have to remember. These are the major writers that you have to study for your NTA NET English examination. So I have, in this video, I have discussed the major writers, the major works written by them, and also the different genres in which they have contributed to. So while you are studying for your NTA NET examination, try not to skip this Canadian literature, because the writers are all known. So we consider the questions to be short questions. So it's really, it would be really beneficial for you if you could score marks from this Canadian literature or post-colonial literature. So that's all about this video. Thank you.